The 1970 Torino King Cobra was to be Ford's answer to the Dodge Daytona and Plymouth Superbird on the NASCAR circuit. Ford had been dominant in the NASCAR series in the 1960s, winning the manufacturer's title from 1963 through 1969. However, near the end of the 1969 season, Dodge rolled out the winged Dodge Daytona, and that car was fast. It became clear that if Ford wanted to compete in the 1970 season, they needed something special. Ford was rolling out a new Torino model for the 1970 model year. The marketing team at Ford stated this car was shaped by the wind. That wasn't a truthful statement. The new Torino's rear window was more concave than the previous model, and that shape created a dead area aerodynamically, and that would cause drag at the superspeedways. To combat this, Ford developed a radical approach to the Torino's front end. Ford produced 3 prototype cars. These were dubbed the Torino King Cobra. The front of the King Cobra from the A-pillars forward was entirely new. The front of the car was extended and sloped at a downward angle. The King Cobra's air inlet was placed below a thin front bumper. The headlamps were recessed into the car's front fenders, and the turn signals were recessed into the car's hood. Each of the 3 prototype cars were powered by a unique engine. One by the Boss 429, one by the 429 Super Cobra Jet, and one by the 429 Cobra Jet. Ford brought in racing partners Holman Moody to handle suspension and engine development. The Torino King Cobras were taken to Daytona for testing, and that's where the King Cobra's issues began. Cale Yarborough was the car's test driver. After a few laps around Daytona, he stated the car was, and I quote here, a real handful. The front end of the car made downforce, however the rear would lift, making the Torino King Cobra extremely unstable and loose at high speeds. After the initial testing of the Torino King Cobra was completed, NASCAR introduced new rules for the 1970 season. Manufacturers would now need to produce 3,000 street production versions of their 1970 entry, which was a much larger number than 500 from the year prior. Another issue for the King Cobra was a leadership change at Ford Motor Company. Bucky Knudsen was out, and Lee Iacocca was named Ford's new president. Mr. Iacocca felt the cost of Ford's racing program were already too high and that the new NASCAR rules were just a bridge too far for him. He pulled Ford Motor Company's backing from the NASCAR series and killed the King Cobra project. All 3 Torino King Cobras are still in existence, and all 3 are highly coveted by collectors. This is Tony from Tony's Fords and Mustangs. If you enjoyed this look into the automotive past, consider subscribing to my channel. There's hundreds of videos there covering Ford, Lincoln, and Mercury products.